Elder Action. I'm so excited. Welcome back to another episode of our All In series. My name is April Carter. I am here with my co-host, Andrea Hill, and we're both with Momentum Nonprofit Partners, and we have a very special guest. But before we get to our special guest, we want to thank our sponsors, Fox 13 Memphis, for being our exclusive media sponsor, and our longtime sponsor, Adams Keegan. Okay, so today we are going all in with our CEO, our leader, our visionary, our conference partner, Dr. Kevin Dean. Kevin, welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
All right, so are you ready to go all in for the Mid-South Nonprofit Conference?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, so you know you better than all of us. We think we know you. We think we know Dr. Kevin Dean, but tell us a little bit about yourself and what gets you excited about partnering and putting on the Mid-South Nonprofit Conference.
Sure. Well, I'm Kevin Dean. I'm the CEO of Momentum Nonprofit Partners, and I have a 20-something year history in the nonprofit sector in Memphis. So I started out at Volunteer Memphis in 2002, I believe. I started as an AmeriCorps worker, worked my way up to a program manager, then went and did development at a Hope House in Memphis, and then ran Literacy Mid-South for 5 years, followed by becoming the CEO of Momentum Nonprofit Partners in 2017. So been here about 6 years now. I have enjoyed most of it, really enjoyed a lot of it, really enjoy my coworkers for sure. So yeah. Why am I excited? I'm really excited to be back in person after a 3-year hiatus. I like the virtual summit. It's great. It served its purpose, but man, I'm ready to be around people. I'm an introvert, so me saying that is like a big deal.
Well, you're a big deal, and this conference we know for sure is going to be a big deal. And with all that experience that you have and being in the nonprofit sector, and I'm quite sure hundreds of people have asked you questions about the nonprofit sector governance and all this stuff across your many years of being in nonprofits. What can you tell us? What can you tell our audience and the attendees for the All In conference that they can expect from this conference? And how excited are you about it as well?
Well, I'm super excited. I'm super excited for many reasons. But one thing that we really have been strategic on with our conference is that we want to bring new ideas to Memphis. Like there's a whole world out there that's doing things differently, more innovatively, sometimes than we are. And so bringing in new voices to the conference while also having old friends like Katie Spencer coming back, it really allows people to think differently and reframe things, and look at these trends that are upcoming. I think about our conferences in the past. Some of the topics we were talking about, we were warning people about. We were warning people about what happens in the event of a national emergency. What happens if your fundraising changes. All of this stuff came to fruition during the pandemic. And so, we brought those here. We brought voices in talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, before George Floyd, before there were protests, before, like this was, so you're going to come to the conference, for the ones of you who got it, because I heard we were sold out. Like you're going to come to the conference and you're going to hear things that there's some things prophesied that will be coming, and these emerging trends are really important to pay attention to and stay on top of. So that's why I think it's really a great conference, because we want to be a little bit at the forefront of thought, being thought leaders, but bringing those outside thought leaders in, to talk about what is urgently important for the nonprofit sector today. And there's so much at play, so much changing right now. Everybody's unsure of what's happening with our economy, with fundraising, post-pandemic, government funding, all of this stuff. Now is the time to be at a conference like this. Excuse me.
So speaking of being at a conference like this, and we're so excited that not only are you helping us to kind of plan and put things together behind the scenes, but you will be very forward facing at the conference, as you will be facilitating a session, the Mission Driven Special Events. Now, give us a quick overview of that session and why it's important to the nonprofit sector.
Right. Well, first I want to give props to y'all because I have been minimally participatory this year in the planning process, which kind of drives me crazy because I am old special events person, but also like have, you know, two people that run this conference really well. So I'm really excited. I like a lot of stuff I don't even know about. I don't know who won the Catalyst Awards. I don't know who, like, I'm out of the loop, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of refreshing that I can, you know, not be involved. So what was your second question? What was the second part of that question? Or what was the question?
So give us an overview of the session that you're doing and why it's important to the nonprofit sector.
Yeah. So sorry, I wanted to give you some accolades because y'all have done the work here. So I don't want to take any credit for it. So I'm doing mission-driven special events. This is actually a training I've been doing for years. I actually used to give this training at the Alliance for Nonprofit Excellence before I came on and before we changed our name and everything. So I've been doing this 7-8 years, but we're scaling it down to make it like a 1 hour breakout session. But we're talking about, or is it not at 1 hour? Is it 1.5 hours? Okay, good. I was like, I'm planning for an hour, but I can go longer. We're talking about how your special events is a real great opportunity for you to bring in new donors. A lot of people misunderstand why we have special events. You know, previously, you know, I didn't really think, before I really started doing these special events for my previous jobs, I thought a special event was to make money, you know, and that was it. But there's a lot more to it, and you have to think about the long game, about bringing in new potential donors, and that is one of the best, easiest ways to bring somebody who knows nothing about your organization in. If you have a 5K, you know, you're going to have a whole bunch of people who like to run that oftentimes don't even know about your mission, the people you serve, the impact you have. This is their gateway into your world, and it is a great time for you to share all the work you do for the Memphis community, because if they're not affected by it, they're less likely to know about it. And so this is something where you have to think strategically all along the way in the planning process and the execution of your event. How can I get my message out there as much as possible from start to finish before they even come to the event? And then afterwards, how do we keep them engaged so they're not just showing up once a year to run? They're showing up at our other events. They're showing up as potential board members. They're showing up as potential donors. They're showing up as potential advocates in the community for your organization. That's why special events exist. Money's great, but you know, on the flip side of COVID, I think social media is all up in the air. Twitter's falling apart. You know, the way we're getting our message out is changing very quickly, and we haven't figured it out yet. Nobody's figured it out, I don't think. But I'll tell you, you have to really start beating people over the head with your mission in any opportunity you have, because some of those old ways of traditional ways of getting your message out there, you know, the print form of your annual fund letter, people are giving more online. People are not paying attention to Facebook as much. The new generations don't even like Facebook. You know, they think it's for old people like us. You know, like this is the world's changing, and so part of what we'll talk about is, you know, thinking about your special event as a friend raiser versus a fundraiser, but then also thinking about what's changing very quickly and how special events can be used to further your mission or advocate for your mission.
I love the idea of a friend raiser. Now, you made a very good point about thinking about the long game, because, you know, it is a bit of pressure when you have a budget and you have a goal in mind that you want to raise, but also thinking beyond that. And I know that's one of the things that Andre and I talk about all the time with the conference. You know, we do want it to be a fundraiser, but being that friend raiser and being able to have this connect us to people that will be a partner with Momentum long-term after this. And so I'm excited about your session, because we were already doing it. We got the pre-conference version of this, Andre. So we have inside notes.
One thing I'll say about special events: you can have $100,000 gala, or you can net $100,000 on a gala, and it'd be a failure because not one of those people comes back. You know, but you can also have a one where you make $10,000 and you have all these new donors. And there was an organization.
So I think you kind of answered the next question with some of your responses, but with this session, or even with just the all-in conference overall, why is it important to the nonprofit sector, do you think?
Yeah, I did kind of answer the question, didn't I? Well, I think this conference is really important for many reasons. One, it's the opportunity to learn from experts, a lot of whom are not from Memphis, about what's going on, and and new ways of running your nonprofit, new best practices, and new data, new trends. That's really important. I think sometimes we get so stuck on doing the work that we don't think about the future. It's like what is pressing is right in front of us. And the conference gives you a time to take a breather for a day, from that daily grind, to really stop and say, hey, what's coming? What's new? What can I change? What am I doing right based on these trends? That's an important part. And I think that's one really important aspect of it. But then there's also the other aspect is that you need that networking. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to sit next to people that you don't know, and you're going to make connections. And I know that we have so many stories from our conferences before where people made really genuine friendships, but also business relationships where people started collaborating together because of somebody they met at the conference, or the business that they met, or the vendor that they met at the conference they're now using to help with their operations. I think people are desperate for networking right now, and desperate to reconnect. This is the first time I'll be wearing a suit in 3 years. It's the first time I'll be in a big gathering in a few years. But I'm looking forward to it, because I look forward to the conference every year before this. But now it's like, I feel like it's a homecoming for everybody. They'll be there. I'll see people I haven't seen in 4 years, in person at least.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that part. I have a goal to meet at least 5 people that I did not know. I only know their name on paper, but I get to meet them in person. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, so Dr. Dean, we've got, we know you professionally, we've got a great overview of your session, but now we want to know a little bit more about you. So we're going to give you 4 options, and you have to pick just one, and it's difficult, pick just one to go all in on.
I've seen you do this in the other videos, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like having to pick. It's a loaded question.
So it's better than making you put them in order.
That's true. Yeah, that is very
okay. So if you can go in on some good food, a good binge-worthy TV show, good music, or a good book, which one would you choose?
Because I work at Literacy Mid-South, I'm gonna get in trouble for not saying book. But I like food. Food is my thing. I talk about food a lot. I probably talk about food a lot more than I talk about Momentum during the day. Andre and I spend a lot of time just talking about food. So I'm gonna go food, with the caveat that everything else is like very close behind. But like, there's nothing better than sitting down for a nice meal and getting to know somebody across the table from you. That fellowship is important, and it's intimate, and it's everything else, like that, you get the nice dopamine rush you get from watching Netflix binging is great, but like that the connection, food is a connector. And so one of my favorite moments of last year was our holiday lunch that we had together at Restaurant Iris. That was a great thing. Having some champagne and a really nice meal with my coworkers. That was great. So, and if we binge watched something instead, we wouldn't have grown together.
Depends on what it would have been.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Because some of the things we're watching at home, if we watch them together, it's going to be either really fantastic because we'll grow in a very special way, or it'll be so tragic because now we're side-eyeing each other.
Right.
Well, nobody watches Vanderpump. Nobody watches Vanderpump Rules except for me at Momentum, and that is like trash TV. And I come in on Thursday mornings. I want to talk about it with somebody, and there's nobody here to talk about it. So we're gonna have to just binge watch that one day, maybe.
Oh, I'm for it. I'm here for it.
I'm more of a Wicked Tuna or Naked and Afraid. That's you know, it has to be some of those extreme outside activities.
I did not know you watched Nick and Afraid. I watched 2 episodes of that and I was like, I've seen too much. I've seen too much.
Well, they blur out, you know, I'm sorry.
They blur out part of it. Yeah, not all
Right.
of
It's a danger. It's a danger for me. So
Of danger. Yes, we're gonna move on.
yeah, I know, right? I know. Cut all of that out. Okay. So thank you, Kevin, for joining us, you know, just in the other space in this building that we're in for our all-in session. And so one of the things we want to do is we also want to thank everybody for going all in with us in our video sessions with our all-in show, and also you all who are coming to our conference. It is nearly sold out, and you want to get your tickets now. So if you're ready to go all in with us, please register for our Mid-South Nonprofit Conference that's going to happen on April 20th at the University of Memphis at www.midsouthnonprofitconference.org. We want to see you all there, and let's go all in together.